here. And we are going to be playing some Hearts of Iron 4 Black Ice and playing as Germany. So we'll just get set. And hi, hello Arno, I see you there. Are the firstest with the mostest here live today. And got Rumble, good. Looks like that's gonna work. Hopefully it's working everywhere. There we go. And yes, that's good. Okay. Well, we're getting ready to start an episode here momentarily. Okay. Just doing some air management here. Hey, Sing. Yeah. Good to have you, Sing. Glad you're here. Okay, we have some other aircraft here too. Oh, we have some Hungary. Is Hungary in the war? No, but they're there anyways. Okay. I know they want to join the war. Oh, I'm doing great. No, I'm, if anything, just sort of waking up. Definitely not sad. Woke up just about an hour ago. Well, don't mean to be sad. Sound sad or whatever, yeah. I'll try to get some excitement in my voice here, just waking up. I hope things are going well for you, Sing. Think I'm ready here. Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745, and it is May 1940, and we are invading Poland. We are pushing in. We have taken Warsaw. We are going after where they moved the capital to Krakow, and we are doing very well with that, and pushing in. The Soviet Union has also declared war on Poland and pushing from the other side. And thank you, Sing. Just talking with Sing before we started making the episode here a bit, and yes, I woke up about an hour ago now. He mentioned black coffee. Well, I have a can of Coca-Cola here. Now, I did have milk and waffles earlier, but I did want a little bit of caffeine, so we have that. Hopefully I will be energetic enough here. So we're killing some pockets. We are pushing a bit more east here. Now just to let everyone know, what I plan on doing, if the national focuses like around Maginot and all work out right, is crushing Poland, pushing or moving the bulk of the forces west, and coming in and crush France. Now, historically, what happened, as I know most of you know, but not everyone, it was in September, about 2 weeks after the Ribbentrop-Molotov Pact was signed / denounced, that the war starts. Now, this was a surprise to just about everybody, including the German army. I've read descriptions of German units that are just sort of generally speaking in the eastern half or northeastern half of Germany or something, just sort of random sort of German units of various types, just sort of with no real warning, to start moving east. Now, again, to give a little more context, I lost it. It was on. I should have saved it all. It was a really great detailed look at Operation Himmler. Operation Himmler was a false flag operation on the highest order, and it was more than just the attack on the German radio station that was near the Polish border, in which they left a few dead bodies of criminals that the SS was able to manufacture and put in Polish uniforms. And it included, oh boy, man, I'm blanking on the name. They have a little mask and a dagger as their symbol. One of the German, not the SS, but the German sort of special. Almost had it there. Covert operations formation. There was several points along the border, various things they were doing. Some were false flags, some were almost had it again. Soldiers dressed as civilians doing commando raids across the Polish border to seize or destroy certain things right along the border to facilitate what was going on. Now, these guys, of course, were warned and prepared for their operation. Then, but a lot of the rest of the German army was rather surprised by the announcement that the war was starting with Poland, and which sort of goes along with Operation Himmler, in that wanted to try to make it out as Poland attacks Germany, which is ridiculous, and giving justification for Germany's invasion. So, it really was a surprise to the German army, and they had literally just a few days to prepare or get there, and then many units were being sent only after the fighting starts. Hitler, and so like I said, this is a surprise to a lot when it was starting to most people. Hitler, because, and this is something that I find important, and what we're seeing today in Ukraine, and I'll get to your comment in a minute, Sing, I see it's there. Hitler believed, particularly France and Britain, that's who he's looking at, but the West, Hitler believed that they wouldn't do anything unless directly attacked. Because you had the Treaty of Versailles, it was super strict. They had, before Hitler comes to power, they had been officially relaxing certain elements of Versailles Treaty. But Hitler takes unilateral, illegal, excuse me, just a second. Illegal, sorry, excuse me. Illegal action as per the treaty that they signed, meaning it's in breach of the treaty, so it means you go back to war if the side so desires. In Germany kicking out, and you might debate this, the French occupation in the Saarland in 1935, they accept that. In the very beginning of 1936, military, because they already had civilian. The Saarland, again, I know I'm giving a history lesson when I know most of you want to see action now, but the Rhineland and whatnot was occupied by France for a long time, and that was to pay back France for what happened in World War I by basically France controlling the German industrial areas here, and having France rake in the profits, meaning the businesses, steel mills, iron mines, coal mines, whatever, continue to work and continue to sell things. Yeah, the workers get employed, or get paid, and whoever the theoretical owners of the factory, well, they may still theoretically own it, but it's under the control of the French government. France is getting the profits back from these things, and that's was still going on up until 1935 with the Saarland. They had left the rest of the Rhineland, and so that's retreating in stages, and it wasn't really meant to be forever. I'm sure a bunch of French people either thought it should be or would be for at least for the rest of their lives, World War I veterans' lives, but it wasn't really meant to be forever. It was meant to compensate France for all the death and destruction that, hey, Starstreak, that Germany had caused in the war. So, but, and okay, that's gone. But remilitarization, there's no reason to remilitarize anywhere unless you actually think you're going to have a war and you're going to fight a war. If you're just going to be peaceful, there's no point in militarizing something. So in 35, remilitarized, and Hitler is panicked that France is going to do something, and he issue orders to the commanders of the forces that are pushing into the Rhineland. If you get any French resistance at all, just turn around and go back. Don't even shoot. It was, I don't even think most of the troops, had bullets for their guns. They were just marching in. It was just a show of military troops going back in. Getting resistance, go back. Well, France does nothing, and that's in 36. 37. I don't know how explicitly, meaning in the treaty, but when in 1919 or 1920, I forget the exact year, Austria declares union with Germany. Not Germany declares it, Austria declares it. And they quickly get told, nope, you can't do that, because they had been stripped of the rest of their empire. And, well, we're going to go with Germany. No. So basically they were informed, and I don't know if by treaty or what the details, but yeah, you can do sort of what you want internally, but you don't get to join with Germany. So, you have the whole Fatherland Front, which is a highly nationalistic. Some people have described it as fascist. It might be fascist, but I'm still not sure. I'm not sure if they ever called themselves fascist, and I'm reluctant to just put that label on everything that's authoritarian. Yeah, I know everything left or everything to the right of Stalin is called fascist by some people. I know that, but that's part of the problem, is that everything is called fascist, and I don't know what is actually fascist and what is not. So basically, and there's a lot of push for German reunification, or Anschluss in German. Or that's union, not reunification, but union in German, as far as I know. A lot of big push in there, including internally. And so the Austrian government, well, we're going to do a plebiscite on it. Let's just see what the people actually want to say about it. And Hitler panics. Not that he really thinks, I don't know that he thinks he's going to lose this plebiscite, but he doesn't want it to be a 55-45 thing with 55% of the Austrians wanting to join and 45 not, because that means 45% of the people are unhappy that something's going on. He doesn't want to have that happen. So he militarily invades Austria. No shooting happens, but it's still a military invasion, and France does nothing. And Britain, obviously, as well. Sudetenland. There's an actual treaty between France and Czechoslovakia that if either one's attacked, the other one will, go to war over this. Not only do they not honor the treaty because France won't unless Britain does as well, or won't. I don't know that Britain has a treaty with us or with Czechoslovakia, but France won't go to war unless Britain also joins in the war. And Chamberlain doesn't think Britain is ready for the war. He's probably right. But neither really is Germany either, so that's another question. And he actually goes to the point that to tell the Czechs to back down and retreat. So they do so. So with this, and that's in 38. In 39, Hitler invades Czechoslovakia. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of activity going on, including Slovakia, which is prompting all this, is officially declaring independence from Czechoslovakia. So and he comes in and occupies it. But again, it's another military invasion. That is again also unopposed military, no fighting. And France and Britain does nothing in 1939, early 39. So Hitler really believes that France and Britain will do nothing, even if they have treaties saying they must, even though they've announced new treaties with Poland to defend Poland. Hitler's one real worry, is the Soviet Union. So he secures a treaty with the Soviet Union to divide up the eastern territories, eastern of Germany, obviously. Finland, Estonia, Latvia, and Moldavia region, Bessarabia here, and eastern Poland will be in the Soviet sphere. Ploiești in Romania, so part of Romania. Western Poland, including Warsaw, and Lithuania will be in the German sphere of influence. So, according to this treaty, that's how the world, in this part of the world, is going to be divided up. Now, Germany sort of stays neutral on the Finnish question, definitely, and Finland surprisingly holds out and pushes, and the Winter War pushes them back. Germany takes up to, this will become a history lesson here, but Germany takes up to basically this sort of line, this river here, down to here, which was basically everything on, I wish they'd labeled these rivers, basically sort of this river, but maybe straight south here, was to be part of Russian controlled territory. But Germany does so well, Russia's so deep, they meet the Soviet forces here. And a few months later, Germany doesn't withdraw. A few months later, they have a second sort of meeting in which Lithuania is given over to the Soviet sphere, and this part of central Poland is given to the German sphere. So there is sort of that one trade-off. And so that's what he's afraid of. Now Hitler gambles that France will do nothing over Poland. And he gambles Bessarabia doesn't have any appreciable amounts of oil, as far as I've ever seen. Star Street. It's just over here in least known at this time. I don't know about today, but it's just over here at Ploiești is where you have the large Romanian oil fields. Stalin is not worried about oil. He has lots of oil. He has more oil than he knows what to do with, especially seeing as how most nations don't want to trade with the Soviet Union. So he can't really export a lot of his oil. So, so at first, this comes from people's contemporaneous diaries and such. And I think maybe the Goebbels diary or something, including from what I read in Speer's book. So this is coming from people that were around Hitler right around this time that the war starts in September 39, but that Hitler's gambling, and he knows he's gambling, that the West isn't going to go to war with him. But he also, so that's basically a historical fact. Here's my projection on it. I think he's also gambling that, which is sort of what happens, is that if they do go to war, it's not going to be a serious war, is what he's gambling too. Because and again, this is now my projection back on it, which, I don't know, dangerous isn't the right word, but flawed, maybe the right word here, is that, these guys are so reluctant to go to war. And maybe something you can negotiate over. So this is part of my evidence for it. And I don't have any specific hard evidence for this philosophy. I have more suppositional evidence that in the early days, they formed the general government down in here, in this part. And in the early first, basically up until June of 1940, it still sort of keeps going. That this, even though they never used the word Poland as to describe the general government, it's sort of officially in any official documentation, like calling it that, the general government of Poland or anything like that. It's always the general government. But that it is meant to be sort of a reserve for Poles, as sort of a puppet state for Poles, if they can negotiate with Britain and France a peace. Like, oh, well, hey, yeah, we're going to set up this puppet state. Poles get to all get to move to this, new Poland. Trust us. We'll all be good. Trust us, bro, kind of thing, if he can get to peace. So I think he's still holding out hope, because there is real serious talk about this as being sort of as that within, public statements. Within Germany, and some actions being taken here once the war ends. So this is a real thing, and this is why the general government, I believe, is formed, and not just everything put into the Reich, organized into the Reich. So, which that just disappears once the invasion of France. So yeah, so he's gambling, I would say, in the first incidence that they won't actually go to war for Poland. Second incidence, and then again, another propaganda piece that Germany uses is who wants to die for Danzig, that they do a lot of leaflets and whatnot, dropped from airplanes and whatnot over the French lines before Fall Gelb. What do you care about Danzig? This is a war over Danzig kind of thing. And that just shows some of their thinking. And so whether it's just a propaganda viewpoint or Hitler's gambling that it isn't going to be a serious war, obviously turns into the serious war, so they're not prepared for it. Now, and so they're not prepared to go into the East at the time, and the weather's not prepared, because by the time in September, by the time they finally lock everything down, it's going to be winter, and they're not set. They don't believe it's going to be a good idea to invade France in the winter. I don't know whether that's a correct statement or not, because maybe you catch, because now France rapidly mobilizes. They have a super fast, rapid mobilization plan for World War One, for World War Two, or the war with Germany too, or whatever you want to call it at that point, because they saw what happened in the First World War, and the Germans almost get to Paris, and you have famously, the taxi cabs of Paris, some of the first early motor cars running a bunch of troops to the front line and all this stuff. So France, as the war is starting, is rapidly mobilizing, getting ready for this very fast invasion to be ready, so this isn't going to happen again, and then nothing, basically. So France very quickly, within weeks, realizes that this is a serious mistake, because what they've done is there's a bunch all over France, there's a bunch of reserve units around that make up, say, 60% of the men in a particular mine, or 60% of men in a steel factory. Basically, France's industry is shut down. Just now, if you're having troops immediately attacking you, yeah, that's fine, because you want to stop that attack. Because who cares really what you're going to have built in, say, 3 or 4 months from now, if that factory, if the factory's in Paris and that factory is going to be enemy occupied by 3 or 4 months, well, you're just building for the enemy. So you've got to stop it. So it makes sense for a rapid, fast mobilization. What it does do is it disrupts your economy. And if you realize that you've gotten over that emergency possible invasion, then you realize you got to get your if not your civilian economy, you definitely got to get your military economy going. And I did see you out there, Kraken. Hola. There is, after the initial wave, a significant demobilization of French units, but it is looked at unit by unit and to where the reserve units are from, what factories you're working, and if in a region, say, 80% of the soldiers are from particular industries, they'll basically demobilize that unit, take the 20% or so that are the shopkeepers and the unessential workers, and move them to fill out other units, and in units that are mostly from areas that will, not are reserved, because most of the French army is reserves, that are not going to be demobilized, but you're going to pull out, again, the essential workers from that particular, because it's sort of regionally based, which makes sense, obviously. That maybe 20% of workers that are essential workers that need to go back home to run the country, in a practical sense, run the railroads or whatever. And so you put in the, replacements from the other units. So they sensibly reorganize this. So there's actually a demobilization element going on and whatnot. So that tells you. So hello, everyone. Yeah, I just wanted to get that sort of, hey, Tinky, Tinky, Tink, how you doing? Okay, yes. Hola, Kraken. Good to have you here from Brazil. And Sing. Yes, of course, we know about the riots in France. Well, your prime minister's going there. I'm sure he'll be safe because he'll have all kinds of guards, but France doesn't know what's going on. I think Macron's days are getting more and more numbered here. And of course, hello, Arno and Starstreak. Good to have you here. And hello, Turn Low. Morning. Have War Thunder title info applied right now. Are we saying it's War Thunder on YouTube? I thought I got all that set up right. Let me go over and check. I just started going here. Well, it says, we're talking on. Yeah, no, okay. Yeah, no, it says that it's. At least I thought it said that it's. Yeah, Black Hearts of Iron. Did this not work right? No, I guess it didn't work right. Let me see if I can change it right now. Sorry. Wow. Wow, doing all this in the wrong title. Let's see if I can get this. See if that'll automatically